Good morning, students. Today we will be having a discussion on the topic storage allocation. That is the runtime environment in compiler design. So we know that a program may consist several procedures. So a procedure definition actually is a declaration that is associating uh, an identifier with a statement. Means procedure name is associated with the body of the procedure, and whenever we execute a procedure, uh, this results as an activation of the procedure. So we have entity, we have procedure name, the body of the procedure, but whenever we call that procedure in our program, means actually an activation of the procedure is created. Lifetime of activation is a sequence of steps present in the execution of the procedure. And if A and B be the two procedures, then their activation will be, or you can say maybe non-overlapping. When we say non-overlapping means one is called after the other, or it may be nested. Means within one procedure you are calling uh, the other procedure. Procedure may be recursive if new activation begins before the earlier activation of same procedure has ended. And we know what is a recursive function called. An activation tree is created to show how control enter and leaves the activations. So what is activation tree basically? So activation tree is a tree in which each node represents an activation of a procedure. The root shows activation of main function, and the node for procedure X is the parent of node for procedure Y if and only if control flows from procedure X to procedure Y. So for example, we have a very famous program of Quicksort in which uh, mainly two functions are there, one main function and second is Quicksort. In main you have these three statements: int n, read array, Quicksort 1 to n. So this is the function read array and this function Quicksort. Now what Quicksort? Quicksort is, we know, is a recursive function having the parameter m in and n, and this is how Quicksort is being solved. My purpose is not to you can say explain how Quicksort is to be code, but when this particular program gets executed, how the activation tree will be. And we know that whenever we execute the program, execution will always starts from main. So the activation for main is created first. So this is the, you can say, root of your activation tree. Once activation tree is created, main is created. So inside main, you are calling this procedure read array and then Quicksort. So two activations are created corresponding to read array and Quicksort. So read array, we have node corresponding to read array, and we have node corresponding to Quicksort. So once Quicksort is created, you have again three functions: partition, Quicksort, m from m to I minus 1, and Quicksort I plus 1 to n. So if you see, this node is having again three children in an activation tree. One is partition, second is Quicksort from m to I minus 1, and second function call. And this keep on creating nodes, keep on creating node, keep on creating node. So this is the activation tree for the program. Now, how these activation tree nodes information is to be stored? So for that, compiler uses control stacks and it store activation records into this control stack. So what is control stack basically? A control stack or runtime stack is used to keep track of live process activations. Means that is the procedures whose execution have not been completed yet. And what it contains? It contains a procedure name which is pushed on the stack whenever it is called, means whenever activation starts, and it is popped out when it returns, means when activation ends. So control stack is you can say a structure that is going to store all the records of all the activations. So information needed by a single execution of a procedure is managed using the activation recorder frame. So whenever a procedure is called, activation record is pushed into the stack. As soon as the control returns to the caller function, the activation record is popped. So for example, we have main function and three functions are there, A, B and C, and they are calling in this way. So main is calling A, then A is calling B, B is calling C. So if you talk about this main, so before going to A's activation record, main is created when A is called. Activation record of A is created. So whenever A is called, activation record of A is created. So before before going to B's activation record of main, and A is in the stack. So what is the meaning of this? Before going to B's activation, so in control stack, two records are there. One record is corresponding to A, second record corresponding to main. Once B is activated and B is calling C. So before going to C's activation, in control stack we have what we have main and B is pushed into the stack. So this is how control stack is going to maintain the, you can say, activation record. And what activation record generally consists of? So the activation record consists of the following things: local variable, temporary variable, machine status, access link, control link, return value, and the actual parameter. Means local variable means it holds the data that is local to the execution of the procedure. Temporary means store the value that arises in the evaluation of expression. Machine status means it holds the information about state of the machine just before the function call. Access link means referring to the non-local data held in the activation record. Control link means points to activation record of the caller from where it is being called. Return value used by the called procedure to return a value of calling procedure. Actual parameter if it contains. So this is how you can say somehow a snapshot of that particular example quicksort. So when the main gets called, so its record is there in the stack. When read array is called, it is also pushed into the stack. So a read array function executes complete, so it means it has to be popped out. Once read array completes its execution, it is popped out, and then the function quicksort is to be called. So whenever quicksort function gets called, it is pushed into the stack in this way. So quick stack 1 of n. Then what is in quicksort, what is called, we call partition function first. So partition is pushed into the stack. So this is how actually information is activation record is pushed into the stack. Now how the memory is divided during runtime? So probably memory is having four logical sections or divided into four parts. First is target code, second is static data storage, third is dynamic data object, and fourth is automatic data object, that is called stack. So we have the memory, and this memory is having four logical sections. First is the code area, second is the static area, third is the stack area, and fourth is the heap area. So heap grows towards the lower memory addresses, stack grows towards the higher memory addresses. If memory is organized into words and words are having the addresses. And what these logical section contains. So whatever the program code is, it is, you can say, static, as its size can be determined at the compile time. So this program code is stored in the code area. So whatever the static objects are there, they are, you can say, allocated memory to the static area. Whatever the local variables, formal actual parameter and all that, they gets the memory from the stack area. And if your program is using some kind of dynamic memory allocation, such as malloc and calloc in case of C, so memory is allocated from this heap, and this is responsible for dynamic memory allocation. So this is how basically memory is divided into 4 logical sections. So we have different storage allocation techniques, such as static storage allocation, stack storage allocation, and heap storage allocation. So all the 3 storage allocations have their own properties. So if we talk about static storage allocation, for any program, if we create memory at compile time, memory will be created in the static area. And for any program, if we create memory at compile time only, the memory is created only once. It doesn't support dynamic data structure, means memory is created at compile time and deallocated after the program completion. The drawback of this static storage allocation is it doesn't support recursion. And another drawback of this static storage allocation is size of the data should be known at the compile time. So Fortran basically permit static storage allocation. So what is static storage allocation? The memory is, you can say, allocated at compile time. Second, stack storage allocation. Storage is organized as a stack, and activation records are pushed and popped as an activation begins and end respectively. Locals are contained in the activation record so that they are bound to fresh storage in each activation, and recursion is supported in stack allocation. Whereas in case of heap storage allocation, memory allocation and deallocation can be done at the time and at any place depending upon the requirement of the user. Heap allocation is used to dynamically allocate memory to the variables and claims back when the variables are no more required, and obviously recursion is supported. So this is an example of dynamic allocation, how program can be made a dynamic memory allocation. So this is all about for storage allocation.